Good morning, everybody. How are you? Batch 2023. I hope everybody stay safe and stay at the home. For the next lecture on public health, we have this topic on epidemiology and public health aspects of dental caries, which is of part 1 for now. Epidemiology. Epidemiology is defined as the study of health and disease in populations. These are influenced by heredity, biology, physical environment, social environment, and ways of living. Okay. Students' learning outcome for this topic is 1. Identify current trends in caries of dental caries. 2. Interplay between factors in caries etiology. 3 is dietary studies on controlled human populations. 4 is dental caries in current scenario in Malaysia. And 5th is plan preventive strategies. Okay, definition for dental caries. Dental caries can be defined as an infectious microbiologic disease of the teeth that results in localized dissolution and destructions of the calcified tissues. And relationship between diet and dental caries. There is a relationship which is bacterial enzyme plus fermentable carbohydrate, and you can get acid. Acid plus enamel, you can get dental caries. Epidemiology, again, dental caries is as a disease of modern civilizations. And 2, population that had not acquired dietary habits of modern industrialized men retain a relative freedom from dental caries. Okay. Theories of caries etiology. A is early theories of caries formation. There is the legend of the wound. People believe that caries teeth is due to the presence of worm in the teeth. A. B is endogenous theories, which is humoral theories and vital theories. C is exogenous theories. 1 is chemical or acid theory. The teeth destroyed by acids by Robertson's 1835, acid formed by fermentation of food particles. And 2, parasitic or septic theory. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, 1932 to 1723, indicates that microorganisms associated with the caries process. Three, on exogenous theories. 3, Miller's chemical parasitic theory, that is acidogenic theory. Miller in 1890, organisms produce acid, that is lactic acid, from fermentation of sugar. This is due to extracted teeth could also be demineralized if it is put in lactic acid. And then again, exogenous theories. Number 4, you have this proteolytic theory. Gottlieb, 1947, suggested initial attack on enamel might be destructions of organic material rather than demineralization by acid. Okay. And then you have other theories on caries formations. One is autoimmune theory. Birch and Jackson, 1966, suggested that genes inherited and mutational determine a site on a tooth is at risk. Jenkins points out that most of the data is based on epidemiology, data collected during routine clinical examinations, doubtful whether data sufficiently accurate for mathematical analysis. Then we go to etiology factor in dental caries. We have a susceptible host tissue. We have B, macroflora with carcinogenic potential. And C, we have a suitable local substrates. And all of these will only have caries if you have another factor, which is what we call time consuming. Okay, the microflora. Bacteria are essential for the development of caries lesion. Okay, macroflora associated with pit and fissure caries, smooth surface caries, root caries, and deep dentinal caries are not the same. Okay. Olin et al. 1954 firmly established principal evidence that dental caries is a bacterial infection. Organisms capable of inducing caries include mutants group of streptococci, Streptococcus sanguis, Streptococcus salivarius, Lactobacilli strain, Actinomyces viscosus, and Actinomyces neslundi. Okay, again, A is a susceptible host tissue, that is the tooth and the saliva that is found in our mouth. Diet is another factor. Food and beverages serve as substrate for fermentation by the plaque microflora. That they use organic acids, thereby promoting demineralization of tooth structure and directly affecting caries activity. The growth and development of various types, proportions of specific carcinogenic microorganisms found in dental plaque. Since the time of early Greek philosophers, diet has been suspected of being involved in caries process. You see this figure? You have the microflora, you have the host, you have the diet, and big time only you can have caries. Alright? If you only have only 2 or 3 factors, without the 4th factors, you may not have caries. Saliva. Saliva profoundly influences the state of oral health of a person, including the caries process. Primary function of saliva is to remove bacteria and food debris from the mouth. The average unstimulated flow rate of saliva is about 0.3 ml per minute. The composition varies between persons. The concentrations of inorganic calcium and phosphorus show considerable variations depending upon the rate of flow of the saliva. As you know, the more saliva, the higher the rate of flow of saliva, the more saliva you have, and the more of the bacteria and the food debris can be removed from your mouth. Okay, those who have limited saliva flow will have easily consumed to tooth caries. Okay. And okay. Another part of saliva that we have to consider is the saliva enzymes derived from extrinsic and intrinsic sources. Example one is the urease derived from oral microorganisms. Two is ptyalin, and three is amylase, both responsible for degradation of carbohydrates. Okay. Saliva pH. The salivary pH is determined by bicarbonate concentration. The pH increases with salivary flow rate. What does that mean? Saliva is slightly acidic as it is secreted at unstimulated flow rates, and silin is an arginine peptide which is a pH rise factor in saliva. Okay, what is exactly the pH of saliva? It is slightly acidic, maybe 5. Alright, the pH increases with the more saliva you have, the more of the acid available in the mouth have been rinsed by the saliva, so the pH increases. Okay, the silin and arginine peptide, which is a factor in the saliva which increases the pH value. What is this? Stephen curve. What does it mean by Stephen curve? The normal salivary pH is about 5.5 pH. Above that is alkaline or higher pH, which is slightly alkaline, and below that is acidic. Well, our saliva is slightly acidic. Okay, this Stephen curve shows or determines the effect of taking a sucrose rinse in the mouth and is measured within a few minutes. Alright, it shows that once you take the sucrose rinse, the first 5 minutes, you will see that the pH will drop to about 5 or below. Okay, it's become acidic. The saliva enzyme has to process this sucrose to break it down, and the side effect is the production of lactic acid. Okay. When the pH is below 5.5, the tooth surface will start demineralization. Okay, there'll be the breaking down of minerals from the surfaces of the tooth. Okay, but if the pH maintained above 5.5, then there will be again remineralization of the tooth surfaces. Okay, then from the Stephen curve again, and the neutral pH is about 7. We have critical pH. We start at 5.5, and below 5.55 is a danger zone, meaning to say it is in the acidic zone. Okay, a very acidic zone where the minerals of the tooth will be remineralized, and the tooth surfaces under the pH below 5.5 will start demineralizations, while it is above 5.5, the tooth will be in the safe zone. Okay, Stephen curve again, the explanation showed that within 2 to 4 minutes of rinsing with a solution of glucose or sucrose, plaque pH reduced from 6.5 to 5. It gradually returns to original value within 40 minutes. Okay. It takes about 40 minutes for the pH value to increase again. Alright, and if the person continue with eating continuously without considering the pH of the saliva, then we have high chance of getting caries. Saliva again, neutralizing ability. Other than the saliva can produce debilitating effect, it also have a neutralizing ability. Okay, the components of saliva with neutralizing ability. One is saliva phosphates, salivary phosphates. 2 is salivary proteins. 3 is ammonia. C is urea. The third one is ammonia. The fourth one is urea. And the fifth one is staterin. These are the components of saliva which neutralize the acidity and make it less acidic. It neutralizes the acidity. The quantity of saliva, saliva and the quantity. The quantity of saliva secreted normally is 700 to 800 ml per day. Okay. This quantity of saliva may influence caries incident, that is xerostomia, the quantity of saliva may influence caries incident. Xerostomia, saliva gland aplasia. Xerostomia we can see in patients who may have undergone chemotherapy or radiotherapy to stop the growth of cancer. Okay, where after the chemotherapy, there will be less new bone formations of the person, and with that, the with less saliva, there is easily the bacteria, the pneumococcus, the pneumo the bacteria in the mouth with the presence of food debris. They can easily produce acids, which cannot be removed by the saliva, which is very low in quantity. Same thing with salivary gland aplasia. The salivary gland become smaller, or maybe not there anymore. So the production of saliva in the mouth is very much less. This will lead to a longer time of food debris or sugar content to be placed on the tooth surfaces, even a smooth tooth surface, which with time they start producing acid. The breakdown of the sugar will have the produce acid, and this acid will demineralize the tooth surfaces, and this causes the caries of the tooth. Right? Okay. Saliva, quantity of saliva again, mild increase and decrease in flow is of negligible significance in development of caries. Alright, the production of saliva, whether is more or less in flow, is of negligible significance in development of caries. Okay. Saliva, the antibacterial properties. Salivary bacterial enzymes are lactoperoxidase, lysozyme, lactoferrin, and IgA. These are the enzymes that or the enzymes in the saliva that fights against the bacteria that is present in the mouth. Okay, it should be a balance, but if more of the bacteria present and more of the food debris present, with time under the plaque, it may easily cause caries of the tooth surfaces, caries on the tooth surfaces when the minerals will break down. Okay, role of microorganisms in caries. Microorganisms are a prerequisite for caries initiation. A single type of microorganism is capable of inducing caries. Not all acidogenic organisms are cariogenic, and organisms vary greatly in their capacity to induce caries. Alright. Okay. Microorganism. What are the microorganisms that we are talking about? There will be the Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, they are the ones that are the prerequisite for caries initiations. Okay, as we said just now, this microorganism is present in the mouth is present in the mouth. So whether is of the number of them, the number of microorganisms will depend on the how clean your mouth is. Alright. If you have plaque in your mouth that stay on the tooth surfaces for some time, definitely there will be a lot of microorganisms growing, sticking and growing under the plaque, which with this plaque, the microorganism will produce acid. There are two functions to it. The acid will attack the tooth structure. The tooth structure, and if the tooth structure weaken, then initial caries will start developing. Alright. If for longer period of time, this acid will dissolve the tooth surfaces, the mineral of the tooth surfaces, and the caries will become deeper and bigger. Okay. Another effect of the acids produced by the microorganism is it irritates the tissue, gingiva, underneath the plaque, and this gingiva become irritated, it's become enlarged, become red, and this is what we call gingivitis. We will go under gingivitis in another lectures. Okay. A single type of microorganism is capable of inducing caries. You don't need multiple microorganisms to produce caries, but if you have a staphylococcus also, that is good enough to induce caries. Not all acidogenic organisms are cariogenic. Even though, as we said just now, this microorganism with the presence of food debris or sugar, basically, or sucrose, basically, in the mouth, they will produce acid. This acid, which is not all the acid is cariogenic, or it dissolves the tooth surfaces of the tooth. Organisms vary greatly in their capacity to induce caries. Of course, different organisms have different capacity to induce caries. Right? Dental plaque. Role of dental plaque. Dental plaque is a complex, metabolically interconnected, highly organized bacterial ecosystem. Okay, 10 milligram of plaque contains 10 to the power of 9 organisms, which is typically the accumulations of plaque on a tooth in one day without brushing. Imagine 1 day without brushing, you can accumulate as much as 10 milligram of plaque, which contains 10 to the power of 9 organisms. So how fast do you think this organism with the presence of bacteria, with the presence of sugars, can actually dissolve the surface, the two surfaces. Plaque includes 3 groups of microorganisms: Streptococci, Actinomyces, and Billonole organisms. Okay. A suitable local substrate is diet. Diet is defined as the types and amounts of food eaten daily by an individual. Okay. Now we are going on the second factor or third factor, which is diet. The physical properties of food may be significant by affecting food retention, food clearance, solubility, and oral hygiene. Okay. The decreased prevalence of caries in primitive ages is largely attributed to the nature of the diet. It consisted generally of a great deal of roughage, cleansing the tooth of adherent debris during mastication. Okay. These days we have a very fine sugars present in the food, which these sugars can easily be used by our microorganisms as their food, and in a way they will produce acid with that food. Alright, and this acid that will, with time, will destroy the tooth surfaces, the minerals of the tooth surfaces, which cause demineralization of the tooth surfaces. The food that is sticky, food that is like caramel, it has actually why caramels is sticky and it easily cause caries, because when the food is sticky, it retain longer on the tooth surfaces, especially if you are not cleaning your mouth, not brushing your teeth properly. Certain parts of your teeth, especially the curvature on the occlusal surfaces, the pit and fissures, may retain this sticky food, which is a good substrate to the microorganism. Alright, and this will stay longer there, and the more acid are produced, and the more acid are retained on the tooth surfaces, which will destroy the tooth surfaces. Alright, in times to come, you will see that they start to have penetrating the tooth surfaces. The decreased prevalence of caries in primitive ages is largely attributed to the nature of diet. Okay, if we think about primitive ages, they take everything in nature. Okay, there's a lot of fibers, roughage. So in a way, it is cleaning their teeth as they eat the meat or things like that. So during mastications, there's a lot of saliva being produced. Okay, and this also in a way cleanse their teeth of the food debris. So actually there is a decreased prevalence of caries in them, because they are easily break down by the enzyme, and it is the most simple sugar that is easily break down and easily consumed by the body. Okay. Demographic risk factors. As normal, we have these demographic risk factors such as age, gender, race and ethnicity, socio-economic status, familial and genetic patterns. Okay, what we can talk about? What can we talk about in the age of a person when we talk about dental caries? Okay, the younger the patient, children, if they have their primary teeth, you must know that the primary teeth is more prone to caries because of their structure. It's not the prisma structure is not very compact. There are more what you call holes in it. They are less compact and it is more prone to caries if they are exposed to caries factors. Okay. With age also, okay, in elderly, if they have maintained their teeth good while they are younger, then they will retain the same tooth when they are of elder age. Okay? This is because the prisms already compact, the pulp chamber is ready with the formation of secondary dentin. The pulp chamber have become what we call smaller, and there is less of what we call blood vessel or nerve inside the blood chamber, so inside the pulp chamber, and these elderly people, they are not prone to caries, alright, but they have other problem associated with it. Gender. Women and men, women are more prone to caries. Okay, we see the fact letter. Race and ethnicity. Okay, certain race are more prone to caries, and certain ethnicity they are not easily prone to caries, even though they are in the same situation of the mouth hygiene, yeah? Oral hygiene is the same, but certain race are more prone to caries, but certain ethnicity is not prone to caries. Okay. Socio-economic status. Usually, those with lower socio-economic status will have more caries due to the food that they are taking. They taking more of the carbohydrate and its products. This is cheaper. So with carbohydrate and less of oral hygiene care, these lower socioeconomic people will have more prone to have caries than those which is in the higher socioeconomic status, right? Familial and genetic patterns. They are saying that if the parents are more prone to caries, then the children are also prone to caries. This may be true and may not be true. Last time, the mothers, when they want to give the children food or milk for that matter, they will taste the food in their mouth. They put the food first in their mouth to see whether it's hot or is bitter or what, and the microorganism in the mother's mouth will go into the children's mouth. So the mother introducing the microorganisms into the children's mouth. If the mother is more prone to caries, it will follow that the children will also more prone to caries. Okay. Problems of persuading groups of people to maintain rigid dietary regimen for a long period of time. Oh, this is evidence from human interventional studies. We have these few studies. That is the Whitehome study, the Hopwood House study, the Toku sugar studies, hereditary fructose intolerance, and the Seventh-day Adventist study. All the studies will show the usage of, or the consumption of sugar in the different group of people, and we have to see the type of sugar, the type of food they take, for how long. For a dietary regimen that for certain period of time. Even though this it is a problem of persuading groups of people to maintain rigid dietary regimen for long periods of time. But with these studies, it is what they call unethical. However, these studies made an important contribution to dental knowledge. Why is it unethical? Because these people's people stayed in a home, in a what they call study in a white home, is a home for the retarded, or home for the not so not so it is a home for the retarded people. So it is actually unethical to do the studies on the, but on the other hand, they have contributed a lot to the dental knowledge on the study of dental caries. What are the causes of dental caries? So